Hello, hello. Welcome to Meditation Nerd. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're doing well. So, today we're going to be practicing some meditations with our food. So, you may be familiar with a similar mindfulness practice of eating a raisin very slowly, paying attention to all of the sensations, the raisin, textures, temperatures, all of that fun stuff. What I'm offering here is more from a direct experience with an Ayurvedic course that I took where we connected deeper. We focused on how the piece of food in our hands felt. We're dealing with the texture, and then we're noticing or reflecting on where it came from, the soil, the workers, the travel, right? So we connect to the connection, right? The interconnected web. I just completely lost all of my my whole layout in my head, so I guess that's not what was needed. So we will be starting with something similar. We are going to start with the same premise. I did offer this before, so if you just want something where we're connecting to the food and we're not eating, that's perfectly fine. I have another offering where it's just that, mirroring a similar practice we did in the Ayurvedic course I took a couple years ago now. Um, where that was more the focus of, like I said, texture of the food, the land, the workers, the chain it takes to get that food from the soil to your table, right? Today I'm going to add the addition of eating the food because in that one we don't eat the food, we just sit with it. So we are going to do noticing the texture, noticing how we're eating it, how does it feel somatically, the tastes, all of that, right? And notice how it feels to become the food or have the food become us, however you want to view that. Maybe it's a little bit of both. So go ahead and have a piece of food with you. Now, if you have like a bigger meal, maybe you're eating spaghetti or something like that, you can still think about the process it took for you to cook that food, right? The cooking of the noodles, watching the water boil, the steam rising up. Maybe it was a nice mini facial, right? That type of thing. So please adapt this for whatever your circumstances are. Just because you have a bowl of food instead of like, I have a banana, that's what I'm going to be working with today. Um, so please don't feel like you can't join just because it's a bowl, maybe it's cereal or something like that. Still, adapt it for what you're using. Okay, so we're just going to start by holding the food. This is going to be the tune in, actually connecting to the food itself. Okay, so I'm going to have my eyes closed for the first little bit. You can have your eyes closed, have them open, whatever works for you. Meditative posture. I don't think you should eat laying down. That is a personal preference. So far be it for me to tell you not to eat laying down. I would not recommend it. Okay, so for me, I'm kind of bouncing the banana in between my hands, just noticing how it bounces. I used to do this when I was younger. I don't know why I love to do it. I just do. I notice a difference in quality from when I was a kid to now. So I don't know if that's just something that I'm gauging or what, but I do find it entertaining. So I'm going to continue to do it. Just noticing the weight, and then run your hand over the outside. Again, if you're able, again, please adapt this to however, whatever it is, whatever food you've brought. Notice the textures, the stem if it has one, and even the end where it connected to a branch, the soil, wherever, right? And I'm starting with eyes closed to really connect to the texture. Feel free to start with your eyes open, really just, soaking in the colors or the smells. That's perfectly fine as well. I like the smell of bananas. I think they're cool, even before you open them. Okay, and then we're gonna spend a few moments here reflecting on where your piece of food grows. Is it from a tree? Is it in the soil? I think pineapples are the coolest ones. And then bring in the workers, the people that are caring for our food, that are tending that soil, that are caring for that part of the planet, right? And then you can add in them bringing the food to the trucks or to the warehouses where, you know, the people there are processing it or spraying it down or things like that, and then loading it onto a truck, and then that truck taking it to wherever it needs to go, right? Maybe it's floated, maybe it's just, you know, maybe it's local. It's not necessarily that it needs to be on a plane or a semi. I don't know how likely that is currently. However, I'm not an expert in that, so just leaving it open to interpretation. Or possibility, not interpretation, possibility. Okay. I'm gonna take a couple more breaths here and allow that web to unfold, right? Because it's easy to forget what all goes into that. All the work that goes into caring for the fields, to caring for the food, for caring for the people that care for the land. Because that is also part of how our food gets to us, right? Their living conditions matter. And then just for a moment, if you started by basking in the colors of the food you're holding or the smell, switch to something that you haven't done yet. So maybe close your eyes and focus on texture. I pop my eyes open and I'm really looking at the pretty colors. This banana is a little bit greener than I like. However, it's not super green like my mom likes. I don't know how she eats super green bananas. Um, and I've already smelled just the outside, which I think is wonderful. And bananas feel so weird. They're little cases. They're such an interesting texture. And it makes me think of how many of our products are actually based on nature and what nature has already created. They feel kind of plastic, and I'm hoping that that's not because they've not even gonna go into that. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and start to eat some of this food. I'm getting hungry, so yep, 7 minutes, that's good. Okay, so just listening to how that cracked open, how it feels when I'm peeling that out. Please don't skip over that part. If you also have a banana, notice, and I say that because I nearly missed it. And that don't skip that part. I kind of regret that I went so fast. I'm very hungry, so I'm kind of rushing through a little bit of this. Okay, so then I'm not gonna talk and eat. I'm just gonna, so go ahead and just eat and notice, right? Notice the bodily sensations, the textures, notice the food going down, how it feels, check in on your digestion, and notice how it feels for the food to become you or you to become the food. And maybe if you get a little bit of stuff on your skin, notice how it feels before you wipe it off. And I like to kind of lean side to side when I'm eating, do a little bit of a shoulder roll. That's how I like to enjoy my food. So please include that if you also do that. This is a very lovely banana. Sorry if you can hear any noises. I'm trying to eat as quietly as I can. I haven't been eating mindfully for the last little bit, so I'm noticing I am trying really hard to zone out on this. So, welcome to the struggle if you're also struggling with that. And guys, anybody else noticing that you're having a hard time connecting to the food being in your stomach? It's like I can't really connect to that part, which is interesting to say the least. And maybe something to consider if you are using a bowl and utensils is when you take your bite or after you take your bite, sit your utensil down and give yourself a moment before you pick it back up. See if that helps. I've started doing that. Well, I've been doing that for a little bit since the Ayurvedic course, and it was fascinating to see just how much it slowed me down and how it really did help me actually sit more fully with my food and noticing when the body was like, okay, well, stop here. I'm full, right? Okay, I've got the last bite of my banana. I'm just checking out the inside of the peel. Looking at the textures on the inside. Okay. And then we'll just sit here for a couple of breaths to check in and see for any of us that are struggling, like myself, to really connect to the digestion and feeling of the food in my stomach. Like I said, I've been struggling with that for this session, so I'm gonna see if I can connect to it a little bit while I'm not eating. Maybe you feel comfortably full, or full is not the right word, maybe satiated is a more accurate term. Feel very elevated, energized, and possibly still hungry. Okay, a couple more breaths here. What are some foods that you really love to eat that you don't spend enough time actually enjoying, right? You love to eat it, maybe it's easy, it's convenient, and at the same time, you don't. really spend time eating it. You're not really aware as you're eating it. Okay, and I'm gonna give the banana a little bit of time to settle. All right, that's all I have for you today. I wanted to bring us back to our food, which is vital. Um, Connecting to the food we're eating while we're eating, also spending time just holding the food, right? Spending time with the food itself, connecting to the land it came from, the people that cultivated it, and the web that got it from the soil or the tree or wherever it was growing to our table, and making that connection that it's not isolated. The food didn't just appear. It was cared for, it was nurtured, and it had to be delivered to us somehow, right? So what was that? What all entailed that? I think that's it. I thought I had something else to say, but I think that's it. So thank you for joining me. I hope you found this helpful, and I will, of course, see you next time.